Happy Sunday night. Hopefully our technical difficulties have ended and this is the proper way. So anybody can text me or just let me know in the comments if we are horizontal. And I am turning on the ability for guests to join. And I see Jessenia. Hello. I know you're watching, but we actually want you participating. So welcome to New Year, New You. And we are wrapping up the end of another amazing week. And since my tilt is not working here, I'm going to just pop this camera on flip-flops. I apologize if we get photobombed by my kitty cat. Those of you who follow me have probably been watching in my companion guide that this whole week has been about bringing my kitty cat international, which is quite the experience. All right, I'm gonna just tilt this tripod because I don't know what else to do. All right, so Jessenia, we're gonna bring you on board. Bam. It says adding. Bring it out. This is what I hear in my head. Well, you didn't tell me we were wearing glasses.
Hi.
You look like.
Oh my God, I need it. My vision's
like
getting
J-Lo
bad
right now.
No.
I literally was just reading something about her because they're like sizzling hot in this pink bikini. I guess she's doing some role, but literally you look like the thumbnail for her right now. What's up,
That's
J-Lo?
awesome. Thank you so much. What's up, Mama?
I'm so sorry about the technical problems. I don't know why my phone wouldn't turn, but I'm glad that you're here now.
It's okay.
So I do, just like every other week, I want our viewers to know how incredible our guests are, because I mean, you actually know some of the guests and you know how incredible they are, but I want everybody to feel, you know, like they're a part
Absolutely
of our little circle of girlfriends, because they are.
Yes, they are. Absolutely. We've become sisters.
Let's talk about,
absolutely.
I want to go into your background and then I'll go into all about, you know, how we met, because your background is amazing and I didn't even find it out until quite a bit later. You know, it's not like you just woke up one day and were like, oh, I think I'm going to FasciaBlast people in New York. This was a journey for sure.
No, yeah, definitely not. Yes, absolutely. I mean, it started when I was 13 years old. I couldn't believe that I had the ability to, you know, massage or even treat. I was treating my sister. She suffers from bronchitis, and little did I know that I was treating her lung channel. I learned that once I went into school for massage therapy at New York College of Health Professions in Syosset. So it's crazy because it's almost like I was born with the gift of being able to treat.
It's so funny because almost
and, you
all
know,
of our
making her
guests
feel
just seem to
better,
say
and
that this was almost like a calling from the time that they were, you know, children. And mine certainly was. You know, I started doing, I was teaching aerobics before they even really actually had a certification for that, you know, and I never thought of it as my career. I just thought of it as something that I liked, or, you know, so that's amazing. You're like laying hands on people at 13.
It's crazy. I know. Tell me about it. It's insane, but you know, it's great. I love it. I mean, I love what I do, and now it's my full-time profession. It's what I do for a living. You know, and it was never always like that. You know, at one point, you know, I was already a licensed massage therapist, but I wanted to go to school to become a physician assistant. I wanted to do orthopedic surgery because I wanted to fix people. But at that time, I was doing it for the money, you know, and that actually was not what made me feel, you know, accomplished or satisfied, you know, you could say. So I had an epiphany in the OR, because I was already at the point where I was shadowing physician assistants in the, you know, in the surgery room. And so I just looked at this gentleman getting a full hip replacement. You know, they were just all up in there. And I was like, wow. I was like, hold on. I was like, what if I can
without
do
the
this
cutting.
before they get on the surgery. Exactly. So I was just looking at, that's where I started seeing the anatomy in a whole different light, because I was looking at actual
Oh my
mechanics
gosh,
as they were
Jessenia,
moving his hip, just to try to,
that was so
crazy.
similar to like my epiphany. Like, even if you read in my book, it was the first time that I saw a dissection, and they were just, cutting through the fascia. And I'm like, there's no way that that
Right.
isn't important. I mean, you could see where it was coming from and where it was connected, but until
Oh,
I
yeah.
physically laid eyes on it in surgery, I never even asked the question what it is. And when I'm treating or when I'm designing
Right.
protocols, that's how I see it. I see it like we're trying to kind of do surgery without the knife. And I realize that we can't obviously reattach thing, and there's some, beautiful surgeries out there, but I'm talking about the ones, that
Of
are like
course.
for chronic
Absolutely.
injuries and things like that.
Yes.
So you were going down this path, the PA path. And by the way, I had an inbox just this week where a
Yes.
woman told me that she kept, when people, she was I don't know if she was a PA or a nurse or what, I don't even want to say anyway, but she was just saying that there were so many people coming to surgery, and
Right.
she was like, I just knew I could take them in the waiting room and blast them. And she's like, ethically, I just couldn't do it anymore. So she was like headed off to go a different direction. So
Right.
I don't think you're the only one.
Exactly. And that's pretty much what happened to me. I decided, you know what? I'm done. And, you know, I invested so much in that career that I was like, you know what? It doesn't even matter, because if I would have finished, the physician assistant program, I would have not been happy with it. I would not been happy with it at all. So I was like, you know what? What am I waiting for? So I decided to, quit the program and focus as an LMT. And at that time I was working with a chiropractor, and, I really got my feet wet in that office, because seriously, things would come, people would come in with real injuries, and it was like, frozen shoulder. And that was just my favorite thing in the world, frozen shoulders, being able to get in there and, get the, mobilization going in his
What's
shoulder
so
without
crazy just
surgery. And I
about
think
that in
that is
general? I
amazing.
still get calls and text messages from my athletes, that I treated, 10, 15 years ago. And this Braves player I was talking to,
Wow.
they throw out that Frozen, that's become as popular as the movie, frozen foot, frozen toe, frozen knee, frozen this. So anybody out there that's suffering from Frozen, just know that that is 9 times out of 10, and maybe
Yeah,
even more than that, the fascia. That's really the only thing that can freeze us, right? I can't
exactly.
even think of some other reason.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, you and I know, the muscle only does so much that the fascia will allow it to do. You know what I mean? Once it's gotten to that point where the fascia is so clamped down, the muscle can't perform, what it's supposed to do. So, yeah, 100%. Fascia is pretty much, I would say,
Yeah.
95% of an issue, if that can be fixed and
Yeah,
reversed.
I love it because I know you
Absolutely.
and I both look at things the same way. Like, if I was going to go to lose weight, or if I was going to address a pain, or if I was going to, like, oh, I woke up and I have a headache. My first thought is fascia. Is that you now?
Right. Yes.
Fascia and
Yes.
hydration
Yes.
usually.
It's so funny because I actually, oh, hydration too. I mean, if you're not properly hydrated, I mean, it happened to me the last couple of days before I actually took the flight to Florida, because that's where I am right now. Sure enough, my neck pain came from all the way into my, cranial, and you could feel it. You could feel the fascia bundled up in the
Oh
occipitals
my gosh,
into my
girl.
cranials.
If
And I
you
was like,
read
I
my
got
journal
to
this
work
week,
on
it's
that
been all
fascia.
about trying to undo the flights from last week. And Justine, because you've known me for
It's
years,
not
I was on
easy.
a plane every 2 or 3 freaking days. It is
Yeah.
lucky that I wasn't
Oh my
in a
God.
hospital bed and not just in bad shape.
Insane. Oh yeah, no, totally. No, I know. Flights beat your body up, and it's to the point where you swell up. Flights alone, and you've been flying a lot back and forth to
Yeah.
Europe. You're not human, girl. You're not human, because I wouldn't
can't
be able
tell
to
you
do
how many
that.
times I've flown on a flight
No way.
and the flight attendant will come up and go, I love my blaster. I think we probably have like an abnormal of flight attendants, but at least they are up and moving around, because I would say that a huge
That's
chunk of
awesome.
it is actually that seat.
Yes.
Okay, you and I are going to get all off and like start
Yes.
playing slap and tickle, because we're just such girlfriends on God knows what topic. But I want to go back to your story. And so you changed your path and you
Yes.
said, I'm going to be a massage therapist because you have this passion
changed my
for,
path.
quote, I love what you said,
Yes.
fixing people. My clinics used to have a t-shirt that said, yeah, we fixed
Yes.
that. So I get it. You know, you're not wanting
That's
to,
awesome.
to treat a symptom. You're wanting
Yes.
to actually fix it. So how long have you been in practice?
Yes.
And then how long was it before you found the FasciaBlaster? Because I definitely want to talk about how that happened.
Well, I decided to then go on my own about 4 years ago. I mean, it wasn't an easy decision because I was afraid. You know, I was comfortable where I was collecting my paycheck every week. So I was scared to death, you know, but I was like, you know, and thankfully, I'm so blessed with my fiance. He pushes me every single chance he gets. He's always pushing me. So he's like, you know what do you have to lose?
He's so awesome.
Just do it. And so
what a good guy.
that,
Love that guy.
Yes, he is.
You got
Yes,
one of the
he is.
good ones, girl. He's like motivating for us, and I love it.
It's
Curtis
crazy.
rules.
Yeah,
Hi,
I'm
Curtis.
so happy
Love
I
you.
met him. I mean, he was definitely a blessing. She says, hi, Curtis. Yeah, I mean, amazing. So he pushed me, and that's exactly what I did. I got all my eggs in one basket, and I did it. And so thank God, it's been a blessing. It's been a very successful practice to the point where I am booked out into May right now. It's insane. And so with that said, I had a client come to my office and say, hey, can you fascia blast me? And I looked at her and I was like, fascia blast you? What is that? And so she's like, I'll add you to the group. I'll add you to the group. And so she added me to the group, and I was like, let me order this tool. I did it to myself. I had horrible bat wings.
Jessenia,
And I was like, you know what? I'm putting this tool to the
on our
test.
website.
Yes.
I've forgotten, like,
girl,
I'm looking at this, you know,
amazing
J-Lo mini me, and I never
bat
would
wings.
think that you had
Horrible.
bat wings, but go you. And
terrible. Yeah, I know. And as a massage therapist, who has bat wings as a massage therapist?
well,
You're working
I mean,
with your arms all
they
day.
can,
You know what I mean?
you know,
So
get
something.
my arms have actually been one of my bigger challenges with this challenge. They can, you know, the fascia can come in and basically atrophy them and bind everything up. So don't think for 1 second that just because you use your arms, if you overuse them, that's different than using them correctly. So
yes,
that's so cool too.
Exactly.
I love that.
So sure enough,
had the you know, for lack of a better word, balls to, you know, come in and ask their therapist, because, you know, we say that on the page all the time. I know you say it too, you know, as an advice, you know, take it to them, take the study to them, you know, show them what you've been doing, because I think people are scared sometimes of, you know, healthcare providers, when the reality is healthcare providers, for the most part, get it instantly and are like,
absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's exactly what happened with me. You know, I started treating myself, and 3 months later, no joke, my arms, not only did they perform better, less fatigue, and they toned up. I was blown.
So that's
I was like blown out of water. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow.
You experienced it personally. Yeah.
Went to the next level. Yes, yes. And I think that's what it is. I think, you know, if you are still against the wall about ordering this tool, the only way you can really experience it firsthand is if you try it on yourself. You know, you've got nothing to lose. Seriously, you really don't. You have nothing to lose. Only gain. You know, that's it. So definitely you guys have to try it if you haven't tried it already. You got to fascia blast.
She is in New York, and she is absolutely worth it. But don't make her too busy, because she does actually from time to time really help me. I was like, when you're in Florida, I have something for you to do. Everybody's saying that, like, you know, that even with, because, you know, our audience is a lot of people who are into holistic stuff in general, you know, and I think where we all go, oh my gosh, is they just didn't put it all together. You know, even for me, I'm going to admit something funny that people
Right.
may not know. You know, I invented this completely for therapy. First of all, I had no idea that it had anything to do with cellulite. And I certainly didn't know, I never in my wildest dreams would I have thought to pick it up and use it on my stomach or probably my arms for health reasons, you know, but it's, you know,
right,
looking that
right.
the beauty connection or how it can hold into fat pockets and how that relates to a frozen shoulder or a misalignment, you know, it really is this like all encompassing thing. And it's such a simple thing to do. I think that people have a hard time wrapping their brain that it could actually be this cool.
Right. Right. It's amazing. Oh my God, I can't even tell you. I mean, I tell my clients about the Fascia Blaster, and that's one thing. And the Fascia Blaster has been such a blessing. God bless you, Ashley, for inventing it, because let me tell you, it has enhanced my practice, and it's brought it to the next level. Because when a client comes to see me, you know, I let them know right off the bat, listen, you come to see me every week, what's the point if you're not doing your homework? You know, you got to work on your posture. You have to treat yourself. Because to me, if you come to see me every week, I'm not doing my job. And if you're still in pain or you have not seen any, you know, changes in your body, then what's the point of coming to see me? You know, you're wasting your time and your money. So for me, I tell a client, you know what? Order the Fascia Blaster. And guess what? They do, because they're serious about their health. They're serious about looking better, feeling better. And it's I'm telling you, it's just brought it to the next level
like
for
saying,
me.
it's so worth
You know?
it. Go see Jessenia. But I also want to say this. There are so many practitioners out there, you know, and a lot of times they're probably too busy to be as active as Jessenia. Jessenia kind of jumped in and became a member of the family. But I think you can really just Google FasciaBlasting in the city you're in and probably find someone close. You know,
Right.
this is what's so crazy is that people think that this is some huge foreign concept, but for providers, like they jump right into it and go for it. I mean, you jumped into the whole process, and how much of your session, so let's just say we were to do an hour and a half, is blasting versus other modalities, including your hands, which you're obviously trained to do?
Right. I would say about 95% of the treatment is all fascia blasting, you know, because the fascia blaster has become an extension of my hands. You know what I mean? It's just, I feel more, I can do more and dig deeper with your tools, with the fascia blasting tools. It's just, to me, it's like second nature, like the nugget.
I don't think
it's my favorite.
I could fix anything
it's my favorite tool
at this point. We'll have an argument about that later. I gave Jessenia
totally
all
crazy,
of our wooden nuggets, but I'll tell you about that. So what was it after you so you bought the blaster and then you started using it in your practice, and what in the hell made you just, like, you just came out of nowhere from my world. We're like, who is this amazing person? So
oh my God.
You just set up a group and just started going after it, or how did that happen?
Well, I said to myself, oh my God, you know, this information needs to get out there, and I need to translate it in Spanish, because a lot of our, you know, the Latino community, you know, they're not really educated in that aspect. You know, that we're very loyal people to our doctors. You know, we believe every single thing they say because it's just what they tell us to do. You know, I see it with my mom. She believes every single little thing, you know what I mean? And she does every single little thing that her doctors would tell her. So then I was like, you know what? We need to take control of our own, you know, our own bodies. You know, we could fix our issues. You know, it's not throw a prescription at it, you know? So that's what made me say, you know, the Spanish community needs to really educate themselves. And that's when I decided to say, let's open the Fascia Blasters group in Espanol.
Such a fun group, and I'm actually
that's where it all started.
Starting to understand. I may not type it all correctly, but I go in the Spanish group all the time.
Right.
You're so good
that's so
about
awesome.
Like reposting
That's
everything.
so awesome. And it's
thank
funny
you so much, because I feel like you really are an extension of me, and it's hilarious because, you know, we have all the United States Spanish speakers, But now every time I meet somebody, you know, I'm
Yes.
living in Latin America, I'm like, go follow this group. And you're like the
Right.
big celebrity down here.
Oh, that's so awesome. Oh my God, that's
You know, I have
crazy. Oh my
several, I mean,
goodness. Oh, that's so humbling.
it's so
That's so humbling.
holistic
Thank
in
you.
Costa Rica, you know, that like everybody's like, oh, I'm an osteopath. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm a, you know, a yoga guru. I'm a, you know, it's just so super duper normal. So when they go and follow you, that information is
Right.
just
Right.
coming straight at them, like without question. And they're so grateful. I mean, you're probably basically training half of
Oh,
the
that's so
physical
awesome.
therapists in our province how to use the tools.
It's yeah, I'll tell them about it. So I go to different conferences because I think part of having a successful business is not losing your creativity. I think being creative is a big thing. So I try to my best to stay educated so I can bring my clients, you know, the
Absolutely.
best of everything. And you know, with that said, as I go and I educate myself, I'm like, whoa, well, the fascia blaster can do this, and then I start getting
Yeah.
creative with the
I
fascia
can't tell you
blaster.
how many
It's
conferences
so
that I
to
took
me,
along
it's
the years that I went into and I was like, oh my gosh, this is wonderful. And then halfway through, I was like, oh, I should be teaching that. And I hate to sound like a, you know, a therapist snob or whatever, but once you've kind of jumped down this hole and you've
no,
seen
right,
it day after day after day, it's like, wow, you know, I just want to tell them
right,
how they can apply that. And I'm sure that's what happens to you. You probably end up doing more of being a fascia blaster marketer
exactly,
than anything else.
absolutely, hands down, hands down. The fascia blaster is my go-to tool.
So
I'm
what
telling you, it's
happened
amazing.
in
I thank
the
you so
real
much.
world is so Cecilia, who did our intermittent fast, who also became a fast friend for the Univision Premier Impacto, which is their biggest show. So it would be like Good Morning America at night here or
Yes,
something like that. And she wanted us to have
yes,
a professional fascia blaster who spoke Spanish. And so, of course, we were like, oh my gosh, we have this amazing woman who started our group. And so here I am in Texas, and Cecilia's flying into Texas. We're flying Jessenia into Texas. And I meet her, obviously, it's like instant, you know. Jessenia is one of the
it was
few people I've
crazy. Oh
ever
my God.
treated that's been a part of this new world. And Curtis, too, right? Didn't I treat
Thank
Curtis?
you so much,
Yeah.
Curtis. Yes,
I don't do much
yes,
of that anymore. So
yes.
that's like really special to me.
You did.
But as
No,
we're having a conversation, I find
that's
out that her
awesome.
office is literally like within a couple of miles of my boyfriend. And I was like, what is going on here? It was such a, you know, a serendipitous moment, as are really all of you. You know what? If you're watching this live feed and you're like, oh, I feel like a part of that, you are. Because I don't think people just arrive at
Yes,
this. It's such a different kind of thing, and you're all special, and the
it's
sisterhood is
crazy.
real. And you know, now we're getting a lot of men, and
Absolutely.
it truly is something special to be a part of. And when we do hashtag be the movement, it's because you know, we have a very special group of people who are
Absolutely.
all aligned, and I think all meant to be in each other's lives. So anyway, I'm
Yes,
glad you're in my life. And
exactly.
then
Thank you so much.
Jessenia was such a huge help for me because I'll let you tell them how crazy it is. So one of the things that I have to do as part of my, I don't, is this
It's
a
crazy.
job? I don't know, whatever this is that I'm doing, is that I have to educate the press about the products and the techniques. And in order
Right.
to do that, you really have to do demonstrations. And it is like every 15 to 30
Absolutely.
minutes. Okay, they're like, all right, this is going to be CNN. And
Back to
then the
back.
next one's coming in for Marie Claire. And then the next one's coming in for
Yeah.
this. And now that people kind of know what it does, these people are coming for their own issues, right? It's
Yeah.
like, okay, this is a reporter for this magazine and she
Oh,
has a
yeah.
shoulder issue and whatever. And then, so I said, I need somebody that has the stamina that can just
Yeah.
kick it and roll with me. And so Jessenia has joined me for these press events. Just tell them what it's like to do.
Oh my God. It's awesome. I mean, it's awesome, but at the same time, it's a lot of work as well, you know, because you're, you know, trying to jam pack all this information into a small, you know, time frame. Yeah. And, you know, and they want to see results. I think that's where the impact comes. I think they want to see the instant results. And sure enough, we had this one particular girl who came in with her shoulders. They were like
The
this.
gray
You
sweater
remember,
girl.
Ash?
I
She came in
remember
and
she
she was
actually
like
did
this.
a really great story.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Yes. Did we fix her or
Literally,
what?
the girl came in like this
She couldn't
and
believe it.
left like this.
She
I'm
was
going to find the picture and post it in the comments because that is hilarious.
Yes. She was doing, I think she was doing physical therapy, she said, for about 6 or 7 months, if I'm not mistaken. And we were able to get it in what, 15, 20
Jessenia,
minutes,
on the
if that,
comments, everybody's like
with the
asking for
FasciaBlaster.
certification. It's coming. Give me a little time.
Yes. I want it.
I know.
I
And
want
you
it.
know, the
I don't
thing is,
care.
the
I'll
only
help you do
reason that
it.
it
Let's
hasn't
do it.
happened in terms of certifying professionals and you know, different practitioners. Yeah, I literally went to scroll the comments and it went out to who has an iPhone 10. I should not be having an iPhone 10.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a home button. It's freaking me out. But the only reason we haven't done certification yet is because that is something that has to be so well thought out. I actually used to do a certification for our ICE core training. And, you know, what happened is that, you know, I ended up not doing clinics and I moved to Los Angeles and everything like that. And then the certification just goes, wah, wah. You know, so you got to make sure that we really have the manpower.
Right.
I want to be very meticulous about what we teach and how we teach it. And, you know, is it a big conference that becomes an online course, and how often do they have to come and all of that? Something that like I talk about all the time, this and fascia yoga, we eventually will have certification. But what I would tell you is with or without certification, and in fact, with or without even the knowledge, like if your kid needs their leg blasted, go blast your kid. You know what I mean? You don't need a license to do that or a certification.
Yeah. I've done it. I have 10-year-olds who are extremely athletic. They're doing soccer, baseball, volleyball, lacrosse. They are so athletic that their parents are like, my son is in pain and there's nothing that I can do. I mean, I've taken them to chiropractors, doctors, and no one can figure it out. And it's all fascia related, you know, and I'll have the parent, you know, I'll tell the parent, you are a very important part of his, you know, health. And so I'll recommend get the FasciaBlaster. I'll teach them how to use it.
I love that. I love teaching the parents. You know, there's a guy who's been doing some kind of, well, his research is official. It's just unofficial for me at this point. But he's been working with very difficult children. And he goes around the world, like, you know, kids that have like really severe ADD and some of these other type things. And his approach is to treat the family, you know, and I feel like that's what's going on with the FasciaBlaster. I mean, you were saying it earlier, like as soon as someone becomes one of your patients, you're like, hey, this is a teamwork type situation. And I feel that same way with parents. And it was a hard thing, you know, like I have to do our inserts and all of that stuff. And we're always like, it's a self-use tool. It's a self-use tool. And just this week we were revisiting it because I was like, it is a self-use tool, but it is also something that if you're a practitioner, you should have that discernment right away. You don't need a certification from me to do something awesome with the FasciaBlaster. So if you're a practitioner or if you're just a wife who wants to make your husband's back feel better, or a mom that wants to work on your kid's feet or whatever it is, these tools are pretty much dummy proof. I mean, they really, really are. So certification would just be to make sure that people knew the methodology that I had a vision of, and you know, you would know that they were a certification from me. But I don't want that to discourage practitioners. You know, even trainers, even chiropractors.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely
MDs,
not.
Everybody, you know, whoever out there has an understanding and can help their clients or patients or, you know, whatever. I want you to use it. I figured certification would just like slow the whole movement down. And when we first came out, I was just like, I don't want to do that. I think I told you that. I was like, I want people to pick it up and use it.
Yeah. No, I mean, as long as you have a full understanding on how fascia works, then there's no wrong way of using this tool. You can't hurt somebody. You know what I mean? You can't. It's Unless you hit them with it, you know, or torture them like I do. But other than
There's
that,
so many great questions coming
you
in. So
can't. You just
what I
can't
want
hurt
to do,
somebody.
Jessenia, is so I'm so stoked about New Year, New You. For obviously myself, it's been
Yeah.
huge to put it all together and have the accountability. You look like you've been doing at least some of it. You look great. How much of New Year, New You are
I
you doing?
try. I try. I've been very busy. I try to fascia blast at least 2, 3 times a week. I get in my sauna, about 40 minutes, about twice a week. I drink a lot of water. I don't work out because the fascia blasting sessions are my workout, you know, full body. I'm in like squats,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
in lunges, I'm doing this, I'm doing that to get into the right position. So that for me is a huge workout. And I tell you, I think since I've fascia blasted, I think I'm in the fittest I've ever been, the most healthiest
People
I've
are going
ever
to
been,
start becoming
you
fascia
know?
blasting
So yeah.
practitioners just so they get their workout all day.
Oh my, it's no joke, really. Seriously, my Apple Watch goes off because it has all these rings. I complete like 5 or 6 rings because it keeps going off. Keep going, keep
I wish
going. You're
you
doing a
had all
great
of that
job.
when I
So
was
yeah, no,
treating,
it's
because I
definitely a
think
workout.
about like how little I am in comparative to, I bet 60% of my clients for a good, during the season, almost every year when I was in Texas, were NFL players. So
Wow.
I always just thought I was
Wow.
like naturally
They're
healthy,
a
but
lot
I
of
think
work.
it's because I was lifting legs and
What? I had my first NFL player. He's an ex NFL player. And let me tell you, that was a workout. That was a workout. I did a 2 hour treatment. Holy cow. I don't know how
yes,
you did
girl.
that
We
back
used
to
to
back.
have what we would call
I don't
Football
know how you did
Friday, and
that.
pretty much all my whole
Woo.
staff was like little girls, and we had them like lined up and going around the room because we had a pregame prep, and then we would watch the games and we'd be like,
Wow.
oh no, we're gonna be so busy on Monday, you know, because we would see the different guys.
Oh my
But
goodness.
yeah, that's
Oh my
interesting when you
God.
have
That
like
is
a successful
insane.
clinic in the town. I'm sure this is going to happen for you, but I don't want it to happen too fast for you because it's overwhelming. But I do want to talk about some of these tools because I've been cupping for a really long
Yeah.
time, and I think people were sort of mad at me. I even saw some like snarky comments like, "Oh, we have to cup now," and it's like, no, this is actually, you know, an additional support tool.
No.
But I've always said for
Right.
cupping people, and I don't know them, by the way. Like, part of me wants to be like, "Hi, Acu Zone and Rock Blade people. Do you know what your product does?" Because they're positioned so many
It's
different ways, and
amazing.
I don't ever want to say, "Oh, you don't market your
Oh
product
yeah.
correctly." But cupping really does so much for the fascia. Yet I don't see any marketing
It
for
absolutely
that.
does.
So can we just talk a little bit about the cups? And me and
Right.
Jessenia are funny because we do not like the same brands. So, and that's okay because we're not really about the brand. We're just about what works for you. So
The actual cups.
tell them what this does.
Exactly.
Can you see me?
Hold on. Give me one
I'm
second. What
just
did you
showing a
just,
cup on my
what was that?
form.
Oh, yes.
I always use
Yes.
the
Yes.
mozzarella
So,
cheese example. You know, that if you put this on the first layer of fascia and then suck up the skin into it. In fact, I'm going
yes.
to go ahead and do it on my arm so that people can see. It's so weird looking. I actually cut my stomach today.
Yes.
Like, what a crazy looking thing that was. But it pulls that first layer up like mozzarella cheese. And then as you wiggle it or move it or slide it, like you're pulling. So it's really an incredible fascia stretch, right? I mean, that's how, if I were
Absolutely.
Ashley
It
Black, the
mimics.
cup lady, which I'm not, but if I were, that's how I would market it, that it is a fascia stretch. And I have to tell you, for years, when we would do
Absolutely.
fascia prep treatment, in fact, that's one of the first thing we would teach our therapists, we would teach to grab and pull, which was so
Right.
intensive on the hands. And the fact that you can get this insane amount of cubic
Yeah.
pressure sucking into these cup is just,
Oh
it's like,
yeah.
what?
Absolutely. And and the cupping itself helps a lot with Beyond Bound. A lot of my Beyond Bound clients, I can't even pull it with my fingers because my fingers start to hurt. So that's where I use the cups to help decompress and literally just lift that tissue up to get the fluids in there. And that's where what we're looking for. We're looking for all the good guys to flow in within the tissue. And that is what helps, pretty much with the whole, with it being a complement to the fascia
It's so
blaster.
many different things.
It really
It
preps the
does
tissue up to
bring
go in
blood
there.
to the surface, which is what they market. I want to go ahead and say, like, out of
Yes.
the gate, it's not a
Yes.
bruise, it's a hickey. Okay, we've got to stop talking about bruising. It's not a
Yes.
bruise, it is a hickey. If I put
Or
my
a
mouth
cup
on you,
kiss.
Jessenia, and sucked this hard, eventually it would give a hickey. And I'm not one that
Yes.
loves the hickey. And by the way, so one of the things I noticed in yoga while we're talking about the hickey bruise, I want to show you because I have one. Can you see this? I got to be still. So see that?
Right. Let me see.
I noticed that
Oh,
when
yes.
I was in
I do
yoga
see it.
after this, week of hell travel, I was in rotation and she was saying inhale deep. And I felt like I was in a corset. And so I was basically slurping my breath instead of being able to get a full inhalation, which we know, breath is life. We can't live without deep breath. And so I went and cupped all the way around my ribs, which was a funny looking thing. And I could feel it. It was, I could feel the skin and the fascia being pulled out of, kind of the rib cage. But the fact that I have a hickey in that area tells you that that was one area that was dysfunctional. So like if you get a hickey,
is that where you have your hip surgery? Is that where you had the hip
that
surgery?
was on my
the
back.
scar that you have?
You guys, when
side?
we do these live feeds, we're basically frozen for each other. You guys can see it, but I guess the signal's too much. But no, that was on my left, just below my bra, erector spinae area.
Oh, wow. Yeah, wow.
My hip is not bruising anymore or hickeying anymore because I've just been so consistent.
Very nice.
But I do find I am a lazy blaster sometimes, and because I don't feel like taking my bra off, because I've just got through working out or whatever, I do find that the bra-ish area and around the bra area, I don't do as much. So that it's just interesting because, I do treat my whole body, but that was certainly an area that I hadn't done. So, all right, people are asking about the pace of this. So I want to go really into cupping. You and I talked about it beforehand because I do think some people blast and then cup.
Yes.
But I prefer cupping and blasting, and I think you do too. So let's just kind of have an open dialogue about why we do it that way.
Absolutely. Listen, there is no wrong way. I've always say, you have to be creative with your treatments, with your fascia blasting routine. You gotta change it up. And that's one thing I always do with my clients, because what happens is it's almost like a workout. If you keep doing the same workout, your body gets used to it. So it's no longer a challenge. So should your treatments. So should your fascia blasting routine. You should change it up. And so that's why it's good to mix it up. So I like to cup 2 minutes, fascia blast, and then cup again. So I think that is like the best way to go about it.
I think, one of the things I like, and I did a great live feed. I would love for somebody from my staff to post it. I don't know if you saw it, Jessenia, because it's on the main page, but I was showing how you can, passively just put the cups on one area while blasting another and then switch.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you can either flush with your hands, or you could take the cup and do like this. So let me ask you this. Let's talk a little bit, because I get this question and I have my opinion about it, but I'd love for you to weigh in. In China, I had cupping done the old school way. And girl, I'm talking like it was Indiana Jones style, like
fire
a
cupping
thing with, you're talking.
Those big cups.
No, I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
We're
Go
talking
ahead.
over each
No, I'm
other.
listening to you.
I'm hearing like little blips. But in
worries.
China, they put these ginormous cups on you. And I felt almost like one of those artistic paintings where somebody was hanging by their, piercings. It was so intense pulling up.
Yeah.
And then I had the hickeys for say 2-3 weeks, which by the way, I didn't have a problem with. My back felt amazing.
Right.
But I guess the question is, do we think that's necessary? And when would be a time to let them sit and actually cause the circles? And when would be a time that that's not even needed?
Right. Well, there really isn't a time, you know. I mean, if you feel, because you can feel it. I mean, when you start treating yourself, you know it's time to get back into that and do the cupping or do the fascia blasting. So in all reality, I don't think there's ever a bad time to do it or even leave them stationary. But I do say that if you haven't started cupping yet, I would start with 30 seconds to a minute so you can get the feel to it and little by little increase your time. So that's how because again, your body gets used to the same thing over and over. So you definitely want to, you know, put them on 30 seconds, take them off and see how you feel. Sometimes you'll bruise, sometimes you don't. That's the crazy part. One side you can bruise and the other side you may not.
I think it's all relative to, like,
there's never a wrong time to do it.
On my body, you know, whether you get the hickey not, obviously if you leave it on for a long amount of time, then you can get the hickeys everywhere. But if you're intentionally moving the cups just slightly and you get it in one spot, then most likely that is a place where you were not having proper blood flow through the fascia. Somebody's saying, what about plantar fasciitis? Okay,
exactly.
Hell yes is the answer to that. I put that cup, I'm gonna do it and then show my foot, because putting a cup right on top of the foot is amazing, and it's an amazing prep for the fascia blaster.
Yes. And that's another thing. I'd like to also comment on that. Just because you feel for plantar fasciitis, and I'm sure this is also true for other things because I have experienced it firsthand, but just because you feel the pain underneath your foot, it doesn't mean that that's where the pain is. It could also be the top of your foot, your calf muscle may have something to do with it, or even your hip. So that's why it's so important when you're fascia blasting, not to just fascia blast one area, do the entire extremity, because that's just the way the body is. And Ashley, you explained it so well in your book. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have not read her book yet, and you know you're not sure on how to fascia blast or how to start, you definitely should, because Ashley explains it like this. It's like our bodies, it's like a huge bed sheet. When you pull it on one side, everything else follows through. It's like a domino effect. And that holds true for most of our pain in our body. It's all fascia related because of that, because we like to always compensate. Our body is meant to fix itself and heal itself. So by doing that, it compensates. And that's where pain sets in.
I appreciate you saying that about the book, because you know what? There's so much information out there.
Absolutely.
And I tried to put it in a way that anyone could understand. And I really feel like if you read the book, you're going to have almost no questions, because I'm just thinking about where I show layer by layer how the fascia lays in there, and then the actual lines of fascia. And it's like, of course, all of this makes perfect sense. Like to me, it's not even, this is nowhere even in the realm of alternative medicine. This is just like common sense. It's like, it's like back in the day, if somebody said, oh, you use a hairbrush for your hair, like, of course you do. And no one would question why you use a hairbrush. You know, so why wouldn't you cup and blast? If you understand the way fascia works, this should be the first thing you go to when you have pain. I mean, pain is the primary sensory organ. I'm going to show my foot, Jessenia, so I know you're kind of frozen.
Absolutely.
But I got a cup on my foot.
No. Look at that.
It actually feels so good.
That's awesome.
And I have to tell you, you know, that there are limitations to the blaster. I think that people, just because I invented it, that I think it's the end all be all. No, I don't. I think that it's probably a good 60%, you know, maybe 70, but there's so many other things that you can do. And cupping is just, to me, it's one of those things like, what are you doing with your life? First of all, it's inexpensive. I mean, this amazing cup set, and this is the same one they were using in the pro training room. It's like $35.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean, if you guys have not gotten the cupping cup sets, you definitely should. I mean, don't be scared. Just, you know, you just got to dive in. you know, because there's
Well,
no
I
wrong
want to
way
talk
of
about
doing
the
it. There
different
really
brands
isn't
of
no wrong
cups,
way of doing
you
it.
know, we don't necessarily, you know, endorse anything. I just talk about certain things that I like. And when I went to
Yes.
see Jessenia, so she's been my patient and I've been hers, which has been amazing. But what what amazed me was your little cup set. I was like, this looks like the, you know, $3 ones on the internet, but what you were explaining to me certainly made sense. So I want you to show what you have and why you like it, and I can talk a little bit about AccuZone and why I like it.
Absolutely. So these little guys here, they're actually made by Rock Tape.
This
They're called the
company.
Rock Pods. So I know Indiglo, yes, the rock weights. The Indiglo makes the same ones. I think they're white or black, but these guys are pretty cool because every cup I think has their purpose, just like every fascia
Amen.
blaster has its purpose. So do cups, right? So pretty much what these guys do is they do something called flossing. And so like if I have a limitation, you know, in doing this, let's say I can't go here. So I'll start the patient by an extension if this is the furthest they go. So I would literally just pop these babies on and have them floss. And so it's amazing how the brain perceives pain and the fascia and all
Well,
the
I love
signals.
that
But
idea. I
sure
mean, I think
enough,
you could do it
it
with
will
these.
increase
You
the
would
range
just
of
not do it
motion.
as intensely. So the name of the
Yes,
game is if you're going to floss, which
yes,
just basically
exactly.
means move the tissue up under, you know, moving the tissue from a shortened to a lengthened position and back. Um, you just want less intensity.
Right.
Because if you think about it, the cup is like holding your
Less
fascia in there.
intensity.
So if you're moving, you're getting like that. It's like a
Exactly.
additional stretch to that. So I love that.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. You definitely, the last thing you want to do is put too much pressure when you're moving the extremity because you don't want to start blistering underneath. And because you're literally causing friction. So
Do
you
you,
want to use
with those,
less
do you
pressure
use no
and
oil
just
whatsoever?
little, I don't use any oil, just my body's natural oil. I just pop them on
So
and I
these,
just
just so you know,
do the
you do
movement.
need a little
And
bit
you
of
can put
oil.
them pretty much
They
anywhere.
don't stick very well without it. It's interesting,
Yes.
Jessenia, doesn't that almost take you back
Yeah.
to,
Right
it's
on the
so funny
rim.
because I've been the full gamut. You know, I go back to the days when active release technique was the hottest thing smoking, you know, 21 years ago or whenever I took that first course. And it's all about mobilizing the tissue, basically while you either have your
Right.
thumb in it or whatever. So when I think of
Yes.
flossing, it really does remind me of two things. It's almost like ART concepts, active release technique concepts, had a baby with
Yes.
like all the neural flossing stretch people, because you're incorporating that
Yes.
movement and that flossing with some sort of treatment. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
pull instead of a push. So it's, you know, stretch.
Yeah.
It's the fascia versus like poking down in the
Exactly.
muscle, but it's really the same theory.
Right. Exactly. It's just amazing how it all comes together and it enables the body to move because that's essentially we can't stop moving. You know what I mean? You don't want to freeze up, so you want to keep moving. So you got to do what you got to do to get it
I mean, I
going
almost feel
and get
like lack of
the
movement is
fluids
when you're
going and the
dead. I
tissues
mean, it's
going.
weird for me to be down when you, I live in this blue
Yeah.
zone down here, you know, so for people to be like 65, 75 years old and out there surfing or like going for a run. I was up real early this morning and I was like, these people are impressive. Imagine how amazing it would be not having just this lifestyle, but doing
Yeah.
this type of thing every day, how you could, you know, extend your range of motion. You know, everybody's over here doing yoga, but to me, this is just as
Right.
important in terms of flexibility. This and blasting and everything else, it's all tissue related, period.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, when my clients come in and they tell me, oh, you know, I got into a car accident, I got bad whiplash, and now I can't go back to the gym because I don't want to hurt myself. I'm like, well, that's the worst thing you could ever do because now you're resting and now your body's getting into that mode where, you know, actually
It's so
not
funny
moving
that
makes
you
it
say
worse.
that. Just this week,
So
I
I tell them,
had
listen,
like a Ashley's 3 tips for somebody who has pain coming on in Prevention Magazine. That's exactly what I said. The last thing we want to do is move when we experience pain. We want to scoff down a pill and stay in bed, but heat, movement, hydration can kill almost any amount of tension type pain. Yeah.
And restrictions. Yes, absolutely. I tell them, go for a swim. The last thing you want to do is definitely don't stop moving. You've got to keep moving.
So let me ask you this. So in a typical session with you, because people are asking about joints, I feel like the cups, regardless of which one you use or whether or not you just sit it and suck it or whether you move it, I think it's an incredible prep for a joint. And I can speak to like severely damaged joints because my hip replacement is now almost 20 years old. So when I put the cups on there, I literally can feel the fascia pulling away from, I don't want to say the bone, pulling away from the titanium. So all of our joint people, isn't this a great kind of like starter? I mean, if I had elbow pain and I had a brand new person, honey, I would have the cups all the way around and then go in with the face blaster and probably give them some ice and say, have a nice day. I mean, it's really that simple.
Oh, absolutely. I think we're really spoiled because we have a lot of choices of different things, you know, to get moving. And, you know, there are different types of cups for different ailments, you know, especially with bones, you know, around the joint area. You know, it's hard to keep this guy, you know, stable in a bony prominence. So what's awesome is they have little ones like this that makes it so much easier to just get that blood flow into that joint, because blood does not flow within ligaments. So by us bringing the blood flow, that's what gets the joint moving.
Point, because I always talk when I educate about like helping a knee, and I'll always say blast above and below it. And that's the reason, to force that blood through.
Yes.
But you made that's a really profound thing that I don't talk about, that I'm going to add, is that our ligaments don't have that ability.
Yeah. No. And that's why it's, you know, it's very easy to become frozen. You know, our fascial tissue sees and senses, I should say, that there is an instability there. And that's exactly why it becomes all gravelly and pebbly and restricted, because of that same reason. So that's why when we bring blood flow into the area, it's like the body's like, yes, it's like a breath of fresh air for the body. You know, that's what it's been wanting. It's that blood and the nutrients and all the good 100%. Guys to get in there to break down the adhesion 100%. So it can move.
Somebody was asking about the hand and finger. And I mean, look, the cups are small enough. You can put it right here. You can put it right here. You can put it right here. And it will literally stretch the fascia all the way through the hand. So this is one of the teeny ones. I think all the sets, do all the sets you have the
little tiny ones
sizes?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I don't.
All the tiny. It has a little one.
Like,
it's got the medium.
Who have it, you know, marketing it online for something else where they're all the same size. But I would just say get a cupping set that has multiple sizes, because just like blasters, you know, there's bigger parts of the body and smaller parts of the body.
Yeah.
There's also like big parts of the body that need small work. Like I could say all my women who talk about this, throw up some love if everybody has a sensitive inside of the knee. The hearts are like, yeah, so you would want to use a little puck, even though it's a big area. It's just like, you know, people try to force me into a box with, you know, various protocols with the FasciaBlaster, like, oh, do I use a big one with a big body part and a small one with a small body part? And I have to write the descriptions, but the bottom line is, it's like whatever feels right is what you use, you know, and play with it, play with your body. When did we get scared?
And that's where you got to get to know your body.
This is the greatest way to, you know, start feeling yourself, touching yourself. Don't any pervs.
I mean, it's crazy because I just got certified in Medicupping, which is the machine that does the suction for you. And at first I was really scared. I was like, what if I like rip somebody's skin off by the suction machine, you know? So it's crazy.
Wow.
sure enough, I tried it on myself, and I'm like, okay, well, this is going to feel on me. This is what it's going to feel on my client. So you definitely you are your own guinea pig. You have to try things for yourself to figure out what works for your body, because everybody's different. Everybody's body's different. You know, one pump could be, you know, very hard for me, and then one pump could be very, you know, low for somebody else. So everybody's different. So that's why you got to use yourself and just try it out for yourself and see what works for your body.
10%. And I would also just say to the crowd, like, don't be scared of it. Put it on, and if it hurts, like hurts. We know bad hurt
just
versus stretch hurt, right? So if it hurts, take it off and soften the pressure, like, no big deal.
Yeah. And soften the pump, right?
Someone
Exactly.
is saying,
Exactly. You can just
on
decrease the valve a little bit.
If you're asking me, I think that all types of body works are great for pregnancy, but I would say that that is such a personal decision. To me, it's no different than whether or not you want to dye your hair. You know, work with your, you know, whoever your trusted provider is. But you know, blood flow is always a good thing. So, and so is fascial stretching.
Yes, absolutely. Oh yeah, definitely. And you know, when you're pregnant, your body goes through shock. You know, full-blown anterior pelvic tilt. It's, you know, all these ligaments are expanding and relaxing at the same time, and hormonal changes and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I personally feel comfortable treating and fascia blasting a pregnant woman, but again, like Ashley said, that's a personal decision. If you feel comfortable with being treated, then your body will feel good and will be open about getting treated that way.
So I have my blades.
Yes.
And it's so funny because they're still in the box. And I know that I have always used blades. These were the ones that I shipped to Costa Rica. But I have always used blades as like a gravel searcher. But you use them to actually treat, right?
Yes.
So can you show our viewers and
I do.
me what
actually
you do with it? And also talk about, by the way, I am pretty married to this brand versus things that are like this. I've seen some crazy looking handlebars and some different things. It's really important what the edge is like. And I think that the rock tape people nailed it. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. So I would grab a little bit of my Ashley Blaster oil, and I would apply that on, let's say, my arms, because my arms are, you know, they get torn. They get torn with all my treatments, you know. So what I personally would do is
that his arm in the I think that we definitely should end with a back treatment, because I guarantee you that everybody watching this would love to know how to do, you know, maybe a blade. So where does blading fit in? Blade, cup, blast? That's what I would do.
Totally. I could definitely show. Yes, I would definitely do that for you guys. No problem. Sounds like a plan. We'll do it. We'll do it before we end. So what I basically do with the blade is I would pretty much hold it at an angle like this. You're not jamming it like this. You're searching for that gravel. And sure enough, I have a lot of
forearms.
it in my forearms.
I
need treatment. So I got
from all the years of body work.
Oh man, it's crazy. So I feel it all in here. So I'm searching for sticky fascia, like I also like to call it, because it really feels sticky underneath the tool. So then once I have found those adhesions, that's where I'll start prepping it with a face blaster or a master blaster, or even
that are like, I don't know where to do it. Where do I start? If you had the blades, you could use it and go, okay, smooth, not smooth. And it's that simple. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. It picks it up, and it's so funny that just being creative in every single one of my treatments, I was like, I picked up the rock blade and I was like, oh my God, I could totally use this to help me look for adhesions before they become a problem. And I think that's the beauty of the blading. Yes.
The fascia blaster, and I have very skilled hands on myself, but you may not have pain at all.
Yes.
You know, say in your elbow or your bicep, but you might have a headache or something like that. And the blades is a great way for an untrained
Right.
person to kind of like do the seek and destroy method.
Oh yeah, totally. And they're so easy, you know, there's really nothing much to them. I really actually like the plastic one. That's how I started. I started the plastic one before I graduated to the stainless steel tool. But this little guy, you know, I think it's inexpensive. I think for $75, it's great. You know, it mimics a lot of different things that you would do with your hands, like the knuckles. You know, it mimics the knuckles here. Any small area like an elbow, and a larger area like a leg or even the back. Or if you want to get into the nitty gritty of like an ankle or even between your digits, this tool is, you know, versatile, does a lot for a little tool, you know, and it's easier to handle so you can handle the pressure so that
Yeah,
you're
I
not
like
going
that.
too
So what
deep.
else do you have in your little bag of tricks? Somebody, first of all, somebody said, Ashley, let Jessenia finish her sentence. I just want to tell you guys that when we do live feeds like that, it's like, she's been frozen the entire time. And this is the way it is every time. I don't know if I'm frozen. So if I'm talking
Oh
over, it's literally because
no. Yeah.
I can't tell that she's still talking. It sounds like she finished her sentence. Carly Milburn is the one saying you're talking
Right.
over her. She's asking, what is the name again? It's
Oh,
Rock
sorry.
Tape or Rock Blade. What is the brand?
Rock.
Tape?
So
Rock
the
Blade.
rock blades, yep, it's made by Rock Tape. So you go to rocktape.com and you'll, you know, we're not affiliated with them. I'm not affiliated with them. I just love that they created a tool and it just hit the, you know, that, what is it, the nail on the head?
Yes.
It's just awesome. It's an
Yes, and
awesome
also
tool.
I think people are like,
So
why are you marketing
definitely get
these
it if
other
you can.
things? And it's like, well, I'm really not here to market. I'm here to, you know, help people. And, you know, if there's other people that make awesome things,
And
you know, I
educate
could
them.
make
Yeah.
cups if I wanted to, but it's like somebody's already doing it fantastically. So I'm just here to educate you guys. And that's why I had Jessenia on.
Right.
This is part of the New Year, New program, to where we're incorporating all different types of modalities.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that all this stuff is in my Amazon store, and I saw my staff posting it. That just makes it easy to find.
Yes.
But also, you guys, if you're questioning anything in
Right.
this feed, if you'll go to the post, the actual post that goes with the live feed, I have links to Jessenia's website. We have links to the cupping and blading. We have links to the New Year, New You. So, and we also go and work the comments after this. So nobody's going to miss anything. Don't worry.
Yes.
Carly says, thank you, Ashley. You're welcome,
No,
Carly.
absolutely. We'll answer all your questions. No. Yeah, definitely. Put your questions up there and Ashley and I will tackle them,
Yeah,
you
we'll
know,
go
the best
after them.
best way that we can, for
So,
sure.
And then Susan Boyer is asking. She
Absolutely.
says it's in the Amazon store. Yeah, I tried to when we did New Year, New You.
Yes.
Create my own Amazon store and pull all the products, just things that I like, everything from like yoga blocks to the mats that I use to the rock blades to the cups to all that stuff, just to make so people wouldn't have to search around everywhere. But you actually have a discount with somebody, so I want to make sure that if they who's your affiliation and what they offered something just to FasciaBlaster sisters.
So I'm affiliate. Oh, absolutely. I'm affiliated with Cupping USA. They have some great cups. They're the ones that I showed with the little negative ion. These guys have little negative ion metals in there that helps with healing. So that's one. They also make these awesome ones here. And I know I actually had gone through a comment and they said they want either the softer ones, and Cupping USA actually makes softer, medium, and hard silicone cups. So those who are interested to want to get a little bit of everything, they were so awesome in creating a starter kit for us, specifically for our fascia blasters. Yeah. Yes. So a special thank you to Michelle and Christy, because they really got it together for us. So this week they're actually doing it for until I believe April 7th, if I'm not mistaken. They're actually giving us a 20% off using the code NYNY for our Fascia Blaster sisters.
We'll make sure
so
you guys
absolutely,
we'll
ladies, get on there,
so don't worry.
and check it out.
Somebody, Russell Lyle Darlington, he is a physical therapist and he wants to learn more. I would send, would you guys give him, I think the cupping and blading for a physical therapist, that group is probably the best group. And then also, if you guys are not aware, if you go right
Oh yeah,
now
totally.
to, well, don't leave us. If you go to AshleyBlackGuru.com, we have all the new professional tutorials that show, you know, prepping, massaging, and refining with my tools. And then the cupping and blading can be used, and flushing and activating and all the other things that we talked about can be used in addition to that. So do you have anything else? I didn't know about this medi cupping thing.
Oh, that thing is awesome. I haven't started yet with my clients because I'm still trying to get comfortable with the pressure, because you can actually increase the pressure on the machine. But that thing is actually going to take the cupping to a whole different level,
because I'm
you know,
coming
so
to
I
New
can.
York in a week and I want to come by and I want to experience
Yeah.
and we'll
Okay,
do a
sounds
live
good.
feed. But
Absolutely.
speaking of
I'll
a
definitely.
live feed,
I would love it.
Your fiance, so incredible. Curtis, welcome to our little show. But what I would love to do is just take people through maybe a 10-minute. We're probably over on time, and I don't care. But can you take them through how you would blade him for, you know, seeking, and then maybe place some cups and show the blasting? And because I do think this is something that, like, obviously, if you have a therapist, amazing, great, go use them. Take this live feed to them and say, do this to me. But if it's just your family and you want to try this, to me, this is something that is, you know, safe and effective, and hopefully whoever you do it to will want to return that favor.
Absolutely. Oh my God, it feels amazing. It feels so great. I mean, when he does it to me, you know, because I don't get treated like that. So I always got to come home after a long day and say, hey, babe, I need you to treat me. So he's wonderful. He's learning little by little, but he's getting the gist of it.
Curtis.
It's awesome.
That's how you keep him happy. Molly Fraser says, please nugget Ashley's inner thigh when she is there. I guess I've had PTSD from that.
Oh! That is so crazy. You know, I'm wearing out my tips. Look at my tips of my nugget. I'm wearing them down. I got to go like get them sharpened or something.
It's so funny because Jessenia really does know how to use the nugget. Honestly, you took it to a new level on me. I bet we were just chitty-chatting and she used it on my inner thighs for a good hour. But it was one of the most open my pelvis has ever been. But then we had to have the conversation about the nugget, because I actually started to manufacture plastic nuggets after I made these tips, because I was like, I so much prefer that. And this was before Jessenia and I knew each other. She's like, oh yeah, you know, they told me that you ran out of the wood ones. I'm like, what? I have like a whole semi-tractor trailer of wood ones. I'll bring you a box. She likes the wood. I like the plastic. I like both. Whatever.
I love the wood.
But since it's your show, if you want to do
this is great.
The wooden nugget, I'm okay with it. So, and people are asking where she's located.
Awesome.
She is located in New York. Molly Fraser says she loves the plastics. Thanks, Molly. All right, let's see Curtis, and I'll just kind of hold quiet unless I see something new and interesting that needs comment.
All right, awesome. So I'm just going to move this camera down so people can see what I'm doing.
Jessenia, it's so nice. I can tell some of your personal clients are on here.
Oh my God. I think that most of our New York fascia blaster sisters are my clients. It's incredible. I can't believe it. I love every single one of my clients, because if it wasn't for them, I would not be where I am. So I totally am so grateful and blessed, so blessed to have them in my life. And they become family, like you were saying earlier today. You know, we all become this huge, you know, family.
It really
and
is.
It's the
I
truth.
think people think
We all empower each other, and it's great.
Particularly if somebody has like some like rude comment incoming, we're like, hey, hold on, it's Thanksgiving dinner here.
Right. Exactly. So I definitely extend my love to all my fascia blaster sisters. Thank you so much for believing in me and supporting me. I love them.
We all love you, and you're doing such a great job educating not only us but all the Spanish speakers. So fantastic.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So I'm going to begin by, I'm going to use the oil on Curtis. Let's get it going. So I'm going to get the
So
oil on
anybody
him.
who is watching this
And then I'll use,
knows somebody that has back tension on a regular basis, tag them, because this right here is the holy grail.
so right here, he's got it all up in the pretty much trapezius muscle into teres minor and all the rotator cuff muscles on his back. So it's all up here. So I'm just using this blade as a scanner. I'm not doing any instrument assisted soft tissue mobilization because that is, you know, left for the professionals.
Molly actually has
Those
a good
guys
question.
can get in there.
She says, what about hairy backs?
Hairy backs.
David!
I work through everything.
That's what I would do.
I work through everything. Oh my God, it's crazy. But you know what? I just think that at one point, I mean, it doesn't even matter anymore. You're actually just looking for sticky fascia and tight muscle, and you forget that there's even hair on a person's body. So you just kind of work through it. So I'm using the FasciaBlaster as my prep tool to get in there. Just like that. And I love this. When this starts to happen, that the body is telling me, okay, it's ready to go in for a massage tool. So that's where I'll grab my big clawed tool. And I have the mini too. And I start working in there.
Everybody's still asking about the hair.
Getting
so
in
honestly,
there.
I have worked on some of the hairiest people ever, and you just have to use a ton of oil. Mm-hmm.
Oil.
I was being silly because I don't like
just
a
gotta
hairy
do
back.
it because it absorbs it. Right. Yeah.
Just
shave them
with the clippers. You know, they don't even have to go all the way down. Just buzz them a little bit.
Exactly.
Somebody asked, how often does that back get worked on? Because I think what people are interested in is like how quickly the blood is coming to the surface, and you can see where it is and isn't flowing. So I think that they're curious about that. Like, you know, is that a back that regularly gets treatment, or, you know?
Actually, I don't really treat Kurt that often, believe it or not. By the time I get home, I'm like, babe, you need to come to the office. So yeah, no, he really doesn't get treated often. But I think what helps this blood flow is the prep tool. That's what's prepping you to help go in deeper with a bigger claw. So the FasciaBlaster is an amazing tool to do that, to draw the blood up, and it draws the blood up really, really fast. And I know a lot of people have the same.
I think people are shocked at how red it is, but that is a good thing. I mean, I just even think about like Vancouver Muscle Doc and like our, you know, 2 doctors that came on on the sports facility, Ryan and Jacob. And when people are blasting, you know, healthy people or athletes, they're going to be beet red from doing this. That's a sign of healthy tissue.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. This is a sign of healthy tissue. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's getting all those nutrients in there. And, you know, we're facilitating the inflammation process. And that's the beauty of the FasciaBlaster, is that when you're actually doing this, you can actually go for longer periods of time. And that's my experience. I can go for longer periods of time with a FasciaBlaster than I can with any instrument assisted soft tissue tool. You know, because the last thing you want is to start breaking capillaries with the instrument assisted soft tissue tool. So that's why I like the FasciaBlaster, because it allows me to get in deeper and deeper without creating any bruising or breaking of capillaries in the skin.
One lady was asking, why does he have that much tension? Is it lifting weights, the type of work? What does he do? And that's actually, I mean, I think that's a super legitimate question, because, you know, there's some people that, like me, no matter how many, you know, massages I would get a week, or no matter how much blasting, my body is always trying to, you know, go back. And some of it's from whatever I was born with, whether we call it
Right.
arthritis, autoimmune, hip replacement, whatever, you know, but the reality is that the body needs regular maintenance,
Right.
particularly if you have, you know, structural deficiencies or, you know, like
Oh,
Curtis, your jaw is
absolutely.
not physical.
Yeah, I mean, stress alone can really do damage to our tissues, you know, all that tension and stress and, you know, all that stuff can really jeopardize our bodies. And, you know, he has a very stressful job, believe it or not. You know, he doesn't sit for long periods of time, nor his job is not manual.
Yeah,
It's more like mental, you know, because he's always dealing with clients and
that's
stuff like
stressful.
that. So stress can definitely is a huge factor. Yeah, 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 totally. So after I've prepped the tool, massaged the tool, I'll take the refining tool and get into that area
This is what I'm
with
loving
my
right
nugget.
now because I think people are terrified to use a refining tool on the back when it's the bomb.com. It like literally can go inside. Like
Oh no.
I take the refining tool and go around the, you know, spinous process or like inside between, you
Yes.
know, the TVPs on both sides. And I just don't think that's, you know, something that most
Oh
people do,
yeah.
but it's huge. And look at what you're doing. Oh, I love it. People are now starting to talk about energy and
Yeah, I
it
I
all goes together.
I it really does. It's just amazing. And what I love about the nugget is if I feel stickiness along the spine, I can actually just go adjacent to the, you know, vertebrae and kind of use a scoop method to release the fascial tissue from accumulating in the spinal cord, which is really awesome. So nugget is a very
Mary Godwin
powerful
says that's probably a
a
simple
very
comment, but I
powerful
always wonder
tool.
what people do a long time ago. I have to tell you, I am debating, of course, you know, after having a successful book, they want another one. And I have kind of tossing around the title anti-aging from birth because, you know, fascias are our first cell of life.
Right.
And, you know, I feel like if you're crammed in the womb, that can start your, you know, fascia history, you know? So that is not a stupid question whatsoever. And it
Right.
is cumulative. And imagine we have lived in a society for at least a couple of hundreds of years while this information is probably being suppressed from us and not treated our fascia. So it's
Exactly.
cumulative, cumulative,
Absolutely.
cumulative. So I would love to go back now that I'm in a blue zone. I want to be like, okay, how long can we live with fascia care from our whole life, you know?
Right. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, you know, and you and I know there've been a lot of practitioners that, you know, put that information out there, but never really followed through with it, you know, and you did it. You followed through with it and, you know, you're like, this is it. This is the key, you know, to live a healthier life and you did it, girl. I am super
Thanks,
proud of
sister.
you. It's awesome.
I mean, you know, for me,
I
I love
love
to
it.
just transfer into
I
all of
love it.
education. Like everybody's like, when's the next tool? The next tool, and I really feel like with a few little additions of things that I want to do, I'm pretty much done inventing tools. It's all about the techniques. Jessenia, somebody says to ask him how it feels.
Exactly. How's it feel, honey? How's it feel? It feels great.
He's like, let's keep the live feed going.
It's crazy. And I mean, this is very important too, because when we're fascia blasting, when we're cupping, when we're blading, you know, our lymphatic system is actually very, very important. And that's why, I mean, technique is definitely everything. And you're very, you know, you're right about that. Time to focus on technique is definitely it, because every little thing we do to our bodies, it, you know, it does make a difference.
Hold on, some lady.
So
Hold on, let me see who it
we
is.
definitely have
Sorry,
to focus on
Jessenia,
technique.
you're frozen again. Natalie
No
Powell
worries.
says, can she move her hand or fingers a little so we can see the contact of the tool to the skin to see it positioning? I think that was from when you were doing the nugget.
Oh, the nugget. Sure.
If I'm wrong,
Absolutely.
Mary, let me know and
So,
we'll go back because your comments come in just a slightly delayed.
So I'll just hold it in between my two fingers like this, like a pencil. And I go into the area that I feel that is tight or sticky and just work it.
That's awesome. So, Jessenia, we do
Along
have
the
to
spine,
wrap.
just like that.
So, in terms of, I just want to make sure
Yes.
everybody has the order. So, we're saying blade to go seeking for adhesions, right? Seek, and then destroy the adhesions. And I mean that in a good way. So
seek and then destroy.
And then we're taking cups to give an initial stretch and initial blood flow. Then we're doing a small clawed prep, big clawed massage, and then refining. And it looks like, again, you were frozen, but it looks like you went back and did some flushing with circular cups, which I love. So was that the process?
Yes. But you could do blading, cupping, prepping with the face blaster, massage with a massage tool, refine, and then you can use the cup again. So the cupping, you could do it however you want to do it. He's messing with you. Yeah, so you can never go wrong with the cupping. Absolutely not. You can do it however you want to do it. You could do it before blading, after fascia blasting, before fascia blasting. There's no wrong way of doing it. You just want to move the fluids.
I shouldn't have said anything because you know what people want, and we talked about it. We talked about it the night we launched the paddle blaster. Was everybody wants an arm one? You know, like a three rows by 3 rows. All right. I'm still working on extenders. Let me tell you, this stuff is not easy to manufacture a fascia blaster. People are like, are you worried about being copied? I'm like, no, I'm patented. But even if I wasn't, good luck.
Absolutely not.
I can't tell you how difficult it is to do these injectable plastics. Somebody's saying cup question
That's crazy.
above. I don't see it. But we will go back and answer these questions after the live feed. And make sure that everybody knows where to go.
Absolutely. And feel free to join the feel free to join the cupping and bleeding group. You know what I mean? I mean, we have a lot, we have awesome motivators that are knowledgeable also and can help answer all the questions. But I also jump on there from time to time too to answer some questions. So if you want to join the group, and I also have videos on there that you guys can watch.
You do those like from
definitely
your
ask questions.
Treatments. Like you're doing it from the therapist perspective, which is great.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of people that want to help their family and they're scared to start. So watching you in that environment is great. I don't normally do that. I usually do the self-treatment. So I appreciate you helping me with that. And I appreciate our whole group. I hope what everybody is taking from the New Year, New You is that this fabulous group of friends and colleagues that I've gathered over the years, not only them, but who they've taught and who they've taught and who they've inspired, this can be huge, and we can really take globally our health into our own hands. And now you have more of the components to do that. So I feel so blessed to have been able to actually pull this off. When I first went to my social media, they're like, you're going to do what? You're going to form how many groups? And we're going to get new motivators, and we're going to, but I think it's been fantastic. And you have absolutely been a superstar, and I appreciate you to the ends of the earth. And I can't wait to see you.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it, girl. Let me know.
All right,
I'll be
sisters,
there.
We love you. We love the guys who came on, and we will be back next Sunday night, same time, 7 Central, as long as Costa Rica has power. That occasionally happens. And just keep checking in on this page for all of the daily New Year, New You. I've seen the pictures. My body's changing. My spirit's changing. And I just hope everybody's is too. And now this is a way that you guys can help your friends and family and really do it with all these various tools. So, Jessenia, thank you so much. I'll see you guys all back at the same time.
You are so welcome. Bye, guys.
Actually, I might be with you next week.
Love you all. Good night.
All right, sister girl. Bye, Curtis.